Today's video is going to be a very quick unboxing and story time of my experience shopping in Paris at my all-time favourite luxury fashion house, and that is of course Chanel. This trip to Paris and this black bag may pose a few questions, namely, Mel, when did you go to Paris? And number two, why is there a black Chanel bag? And I will give you all of the answers to the questions once I unbox this item right here. As you can tell, it is still wrapped. I have not yet opened it, but let me just take the camellia off and let's open this up. And you can probably guess what it is from looking at the size and shape of the box. This right here is a beautiful pair of sunglasses. Actually, this is my first pair of Chanel sunglasses ever. Shock, I think, for some, but I have my reasons. I think I covered it in one of the Chanel videos I did because sometimes the quality is not there, but this one, trust me, is good. And this is a beautiful pair of black classic Chanel sunglasses with the gold hardware and the side gold CCs here. I'll just try it on just to show you what we have going on. It is a, I guess, plastic or acrylic sunglass frame, and it is dark tinted so I can people watch without people knowing. I've been looking for some replacement sunglasses to fill the void basically of the tragic death of two of my favourite sunglasses, which now no longer have the nose rests on them. And these are the casualties in question. This pair of Prada sunglasses, which I actually bought from Milan, so from the flagship, so I'm very, very sad. The nose bridges have since disappeared. And then tragically, this very new pair of Fendi sunglasses, which as you can see, has one nose rest missing. The other one may as well not be there because it's just very uncomfortable. This one, however, this new Chanel purchase, of course, has it built into the frame, and therefore I do not have the same worries as the other two. And this is quite durable feeling compared to the flimsy ones that I have seen out and about, even in the Chanel boutiques that I was browsing. So with that information in mind, it may surprise you that my story time is actually about shopping in the Rue Cambon store, i.e. the flagship. I actually did see this particular item in the Rue Cambon store. However, the experience that I had queuing, going in to talk to a sales associate, and then honestly just seeing the item afterwards, it left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. For those of you that aren't aware, Rue Cambon is where Gabrielle Chanel opened her first boutique. It is the flagship globally, and the special thing about Rue Cambon that attracts a lot of people there, the Rue Cambon boutique has the white bags. As someone who buys mostly from the UK at the moment, I've only really had access to the black packaging, which I don't really mind too much. It's just packaging that I will throw away or use as recycling bags, you know. For those out there who are really in love with Chanel, I think it's one of the tick boxes on the bucket list of luxury fashion to go to Paris and go and buy something from the flagship boutique. And obviously I've done this before, however, when the opportunity presented itself to me to be able to go to Paris and therefore Rue Cambon, I snapped up the opportunity. When I was on my way to Havana in Cuba, for those that don't know, there's no direct flight from London Heathrow, and looking at the flights and everything, it seemed the best idea to go from France. And obviously it's been some time, many years since I've been to Paris, and I absolutely love it there, especially now that shopping is tax-free. We managed to make it such that our transit time would be 10 hours duration difference, so therefore meaning that we would have an opportunity to step out. We also had like business class, and therefore, you know, priority security and entry and all that good stuff. Now, a lot of you out there might be thinking, Mel, that is absolutely insane. Why on earth would you go and do a whistle-stop tour in Paris, barely a day? And I agree with that. I think it's absolutely bonkers. However, my boyfriend and I did want to go and see a city that we haven't been to in such a long time. We wanted to buy some croissants, go to the Louvre, all those kind of things that we managed to actually tick off. But of course, for me personally, I did want to go to the Rue Cambon stores. There was no outside queue. It was, as I remember it, still kind of looks the same vibe there But upon entering, someone came up to me, asked how they could help, and I mentioned, I just wanted to look at maybe some shoes. I was looking for some summer shoes or sunglasses to replace the ones in the graveyard, as you can see here. And so the man said, there's actually an internal queue, so just see what you like around, and if you want to buy something, you can join the internal queues. I didn't really understand him because I thought the internal queue was for maybe the bags, but I went inside and there was a small queue, I think about 10 people total, including myself. So I joined this queue. My poor boyfriend sat through this whole thing, put his headphones in, did something else, but that queue ended up lasting for like 40 minutes, no joke. Thankfully, I made friends with a lady who is behind me in the queue, so that time passed quickly. However, honestly, for the stock that I was seeing around the store, it was not a queue that was worth joining. Obviously, while you're waiting there, you kind of feel like, well, I've waited so long, I probably should buy something or look around and earmark some stuff. And that's where actually I saw this pair of sunglasses, and I tried on various sunglasses, but I thought, ultimately this one probably suits the best. So I had an idea of what I wanted. Now I get to the front of the queue. However, the only way I can describe this very sassy or indifferent sales associate came up to me, and honestly, I know some people have had sassy encounters with sales associate. All I could say is she was very nonchalant. She didn't really care so much about what I wanted, and we went around the store, and even though I could see behind certain shelves there was more stock, because there's always a sliding mirror where you can see more stock hidden behind. I was saying, I want to see you some shoes. Are these the only shoes you have out there? And even though I could see some, she was like, no, these are the only ones we have out. And that's always a lie. And I know that because I have lovely sales associates back in the UK who show me whatever I want to see. And I said, I want to look at sunglasses. Tried on again a few more just to make sure that these were the ones I wanted. And then after I decided on these sunglasses, she very lazily and slowly, might I add, decided to look up where they had more in stock. And she said it was the last one. Now, usually I wouldn't have an issue with something being the last one. However, those sunglasses looked a little bit, not necessarily battered and bruised, but you could tell they were worn. Usually at that stage you would offer to clean it or whatever. She's like, no, we don't have any more. So I just went around the store looking for something, because in my heart of hearts, I wanted to get something at the flagship. To be honest, the stock there was so thin. It was all the stuff that no one really wants. I'll throw up a picture of one of those photos that I was able to take, because I think all the security there are a little bit, they have a reputation for being militant about this kind of thing. But me and even the girl that was behind me in the queue were talking about how the stock was, honestly, it was just all white bags or weird sequin bags, or this bird cage, which I think cost about 25,000 euros, and just loads of other random things that no one wanted. It was a lot of the Chanel 19s and the 21 and the 22. They were all the same color, and because I think there was new stock coming in for the new collection incoming in a couple of weeks, their stock was very thin. And it was really surprising, because when I transited through Charles de Gaulle Airport for the first leg of the trip, the stock even at the airport was way better. It was very jumble sale-esque, which for a flagship should absolutely not be the case, and I know it's not the case for the Hermes or for the Louis Vuittons. But even then afterwards, I mentioned with the point around the nonchalant or indifferent sales associate, I then found other sunglasses dotted around which were different, that she pretended like she didn't know about. And so I just found her attitude and demeanor a bit demoralizing, and also I didn't want to give her the commission even if I wanted those sunglasses, and she wasn't even willing to clean them. But I didn't feel like I wanted to be proactive when I'm actually being proactive in my wallet. So after about 10-15 minutes of interaction with the sales associate, frantically going around the store trying to look for other items aside from this pair of sunglasses, which just felt like the sales associate was just thinking, well, I have plenty more like you behind you in the queue, and they'll buy whatever so they can get the white bag. If I need to pay £400 just so that I have the tick box of the Rue Cambon bag, that's not worth the sunk cost fallacy that I'm sure a lot of the people queuing fell prey to. And I want to buy something that I like with the experience that I expect, given that I'm sure my UK account is connected, at least within Europe anyway. I buy a lot, and so I expect to be treated just like a decent human being. And I left the store feeling a little bit dejected, because we'd been queuing so long. I felt so bad for my boyfriend there, and we'd wasted so much time where we could have actually been going sightseeing, etc. But I thought ultimately it was the right decision. And also another factor that I forgot to mention is that the tax rebate was not obviously taken off the retail price, so that would have meant going to the Global Blue or the tax-free counter at the airport and potentially waiting in a lengthy queue. I didn't want to spend potentially another like hour or so queuing for the tax refund and then having to wait like 6 to 8 weeks for tax refunds. Lord knows I've done that before. If you've seen my Greece Chanel handbag unboxing videos and tax-free process videos, it's just not something I fancy doing when it's, as my boyfriend called it, squeaky bum time. Decided then, we'll just go and do a little bit more sightseeing. And it's when we were back at the airport that I decided to go back into the Chanel there, and it was terminal, I think, 2F. It was a lot smaller of a boutique than the one I went to for the international transfer to Havana, but honestly, the boutique experience there was so much better. Obviously a lot less people, and it was a lot better organized in terms of the stock, and the staff were a lot friendlier as well. And obviously the tax is already deducted on the items that you want because I was returning to a non-EU country, i.e. the UK. I managed to find this pair of sunglasses. The lady was very helpful and was honestly really accommodating in terms of, saying that she would be able to clean the sunglasses, etc. That all aside, I realised I've just gone on a long journey and not told you the price. So let me go ahead and do that. This particular pair of sunglasses, the Lunettes Soleil Rectangle, actually €382.50. So that's roughly what, like £330? And the tax refund is minus €57.16. So that is a fair amount of money to have been deducted. So at the end of this long convoluted story, that is why I ended up buying the exact pair of sunglasses I saw at Rue Cambon at the airport. And overall, I just wanted to share, to be honest, this experience shopping at Rue Cambon, because even though I didn't come away with something, I was wanting to shop. I was willing to drop money there, and I just didn't feel the vibe was right. I will leave this video here. Thanks for watching this very quick one. Let me know what you think of Rue Cambon down in the comments if you've been or would like to go. And I will just say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.